Hello everyone, welcome to Cellopedia. This is Maxim. We all have our cello dreams, the favorite piece of music we want to learn one day. No matter what it is, the Swan by Saint-Saëns, the Prelude from G major suite by Johann Sebastian Bach, or Concerto by Dvorak, we need to make sure that we move to our goal. And, of course, on the way we have to overcome many obstacles. I've been teaching more than 20 years, and I got fortunate to get a chance working with many adult students. That allowed me to look at the process of learning cello from completely different perspective, compare what I had starting cello at the age 5. I learned that one of the most important things is how you warm up, how you tune yourself to productive practice session. This is why I decided to start adult cello student warm-up sessions. Every session will be somewhat different, but the idea is that you can easily mix and match them any way you like. Before you get bored, let's start playing. But wait, first thing, you have to tune your body. And the best is to put your bow down and start paying attention to the way you breathe. It's extremely important to breathe when you play. And to prepare yourself for that, you need to feel how that works even before you start playing. Let's take a deep breath and exhale. You can feel how your upper body moves, because when you breathe in, your shoulders go up, and then you breathe out, your shoulders go down. We are going to use that to play. Make sure that your hands are warm. You can rub them against each other, make few turns, do few stretches, any way you like. You need to feel that they are in a good working condition. Warm and blood circulation is just fine. You might even stop this video and keep warming up for a few more minutes. Don't do push-ups, you don't want to feel too tired, but some easy stretches and exercises will definitely help. Make sure that you wear something comfortable. You're at home, you have to feel cozy, you have to feel relaxed. Your wrists have to be free, nothing too tight here and there. You have to breathe freely, so no tie. And then overall you have to feel that you can move in any direction and feel free to do it. We are getting ready to start making sound. Check your bow hold. Don't feel that it has to be perfect. There is not such a thing as a perfect bow hold. If you studied with a teacher, most likely you have a good bow hold. Just again, it's always worth paying attention to that. And by the way, you will see that day by day, month by month, and year by year, it will change somewhat. And that's a beautiful thing you can experience as a cellist. And now let's play on open strings. This is something which we often reluctant to do, but that's the way to build very strong foundation of your right hand technique. For this exercise, we are not going to use the left hand. I wouldn't hold a cup of coffee in it, but you can definitely put it on your knee or here. Let's take a deep breath, and when you will be exhaling, you will lower your bow and put it on a string. We'll start with the D string and make one long bow stroke. One more time. Let's try G string. Breathe in, out. One more time. And again. Time for the A string. One more time. And C string. One more time. How does it feel? The idea is that you have to calm down. You have to feel that you are making beautiful sound. It doesn't matter that you don't hear a melody. Even one beautiful sound is worth a lot. And cello is naturally designed to make those beautiful sounds. I would be very interested to hear from you. If you could share your thoughts about this session and let me know what would you like to hear in the following sessions. What kind of skill you would like to learn and how to structure the next few sessions for you. Every bit of feedback is important and it helps us to stay in touch, not only with me, but for you with all members of Cellopedia community. If your left hand got somewhat lonely, let's use it now. First of all, let's make an exercise to find the first position. You might have tapes on your cello, or you might play without tapes, as I do. In any case, let's try finding this first position without looking at the fingerboard. Every time you look to see where that spot is, where the tape is, you are turning your head and your neck is somewhat twisted. And sometimes your head is getting stuck in this position. And that creates extra tension. So I would strongly encourage you to avoid looking at your left hand in the first position, or at least minimize it as much as possible. First, we'll do it without a bow. We will imagine how we would play E on the D string, and you just put your first finger where you think that note is. No worries if you think you're going to miss it. I'm sure you will not put your first finger there or there, and I would guess that your finger will not end up landing on your nose. If you make a slight mistake, you can always correct it later, and correcting our mistakes is the goal of practicing. And that's a very important and valuable experience you need to get. Now let's make the same exercise with playing pizzicato, plucking a string to hear if you got it close enough or not. One more time. Did you have to correct it? Is it too high or too low? If you've done it several times and you notice that every time is too sharp or too flat, that's a valuable information. You can always make an adjustment. And the next step, to do it the same, but now using the bow. Don't forget to breathe in and out. We still need to make it a habit. One more time. Time to try it on a different string. Now it's A on a G string, the same first finger. First without even making sound. One more time. Now pizzicato. How beautiful the sound when you make pizzicato and it's in tune. Let's listen it again. And with the bow. And again. And one more time. Now the same on the A string. Remember, just the left hand. Now with pizzicato, don't forget to breathe. And with a bow. If you sound somewhat scratchy, don't worry at this point. Our goal is to find the spot for the left hand. Little by little, we learn to deal with the sound quality. But we shouldn't forget C string. So let's make 3-part exercise playing on the C string without making sound. One more time. Do you think you're going to put it in the wrong spot? Probably not. Now, pizzicato. One more time. Don't be in a hurry. Learning how to play musical instrument takes time, and you do have time. You are enjoying this moment, your moment with the instrument. Even 10 minutes per day are very special. Make sure you don't rush yourself. Let's do it with the bow now. If you're interested in learning how to play cello by using Cellopedia courses I created on Udemy, please check out links in the description. Those links include a special Cellopedia YouTube discount. Now it's time to move to the last part of our session today and work on string crossings. When you play cello, you have to go from one string to another, and often we take it for granted. But each string has its own personality, and more importantly, each string requires slightly different touch, a different energy from the bow to the string, and somewhat different angle. We can talk a lot about geometry of that, but the most important step, the first step, is just to listen. And when you hear that you start making unexpected noises, that means it's time to correct something. And to experience this process, we'll just play on two strings, G and D. A long bow stroke on G string, you stop the bow, you move it to the D string, and you play up bow. When you close to the frog, you stop the bow, then you move the bow to the G string and play again. Stop the bow, move it to the D string. When you do all of that, don't forget to breathe. You're still supposed to enjoy it. You're still supposed to have your upper body in a relaxed position. Let's do it one more time. Now your wrist is working more. Take advantage of flexibility of your wrist. You use it a lot in everyday activities and you know how to do it in the most efficient way. The only problem is we don't usually use this kind of motion in our everyday life. And this is something you will have to learn. Say, if you want to grab an apple on that side, you probably would just turn and do it this way. Now you have to move your wrist to that position without turning. And that's something unusual. This is why it takes time to master the bow movement. And your first goal is just to remember that your wrist has to be flexible. The only wrong thing you can do if you don't turn your wrist, if you're not taking advantage of its flexibility. Otherwise, every little step is the step to the right direction. But at any rate, let's continue working on that. Now we'll try to avoid stopping. At least we will not make it as obvious as possible. I will play on the G string and move to the D string, and back to G and D. If you're somewhat confused what to do with the wrist, think this way. You move down bow. In this case, you exhale. When you exhale, your wrist goes down. You move up bow. from the tip to the frog. You inhale, you breathe in. And then your wrist goes up. Let's do it again. And in conclusion, let's try to play on all 4 strings. You'll start on the C string, put a bow, try to aim it somewhere in between of those corners, and once you move to the higher string, you will gently adjust the angle. So when you play on the A string, you will end up staying somewhere here, in between those 2 corners. But again, I don't think you can do it completely wrong. It's always time to adjust it later on. Let's try it without being afraid to do it. Do you hear that it takes at least few seconds for sound to disappear? Our instrument keeps making sound as if it has its own life. It's all matter of attention you're paying to what is going on. More you do it, the more sensitive, more tuned you will become. Right after you finish this video, try playing something familiar to you. And when you do it, try to use those few things you learned or rediscovered watching this video. Come back, we'll have more warm-up sessions to do together.